You've never been a prodigy. You're not the type to pick things up instantly or make it look easy. It took you 2 years of skating to land a kickflip, and your bar chords still sound like shit. You don't know any chess openings past the first 3 moves, and when you kick a soccer ball, it looks like a paraplegic trying to use prosthetic limbs for the first time. And you've always been okay with that. You failed over and over and over, but you still kept going. It didn't matter how many notes were played wrong or how many trick attempts caused you to eat absolute shit, because you had fun anyways. Being perfect didn't matter. Improving for the sake of improving did. But then you started making videos, and suddenly being bad was no longer allowed. It wasn't part of your initial vision to care about making the most profound, Hollywood-produced videos. You did it because just about nothing else gave you the same level of enjoyment. You were a broke college kid that just discovered zins and gambling, and suddenly, you grew obsessive. It didn't take much to convince yourself that if your content wasn't perfect, it was pointless, insignificant in a world of overproduced slop competing for seconds of our non-existent attention spans. So every frame had to matter, every word had to be quotable, and every cut begging for you to please keep watching, like an OnlyFans model to her cuck of a boyfriend. Perfection is a pimp, and you became his #1 prostitute. You stopped making things for joy and started making them for judgment. Started worrying more about what strangers would think than what you actually felt. Creativity went from a Chuck E. Cheese to a Dave & Buster's. Okay, look, I actually don't know what the fuck that means, but I wrote this on a plane off 4 hours of sleep, next to a guy who definitely should have purchased 2 seats, so just give me a break, alright? You gotta remember how to let yourself suck again. Every shot doesn't need to look like a Scorsese film and be color graded like Wes Anderson's visuals on acid. Did you forget you're allowed to just try? There's no rules to this shit if you don't want there to be. Who gives a fuck if people don't like it? They weren't your audience to begin with. Because the mindset that everything has to be meaningful, every project tailored to perfection, is what kills creativity. What you wanted to feel like art turns into content. The algorithm becomes your god, and whatever spark of creativity you had left is given as a sacrifice. Getting over perfectionism isn't about becoming lazy or careless in your interests. It's about tuning out that voice in your head. You know him as your ego. He's the one who likes to talk about how you peaked with your last post. How if you put something out and it flops, you might as well quit and get a job at Dairy Queen for the next 40 years. Here's how you actually get over it. Let's get one thing straight. Without a real deadline, your idea is just mental masturbation. You sit there stroking your own ego and getting off on making something real. But you won't, because perfectionism thrives in the hypothetical. The longer a project sits in your head, the more flawless it makes itself. Because it isn't real. Not yet. A deadline changes that. Now you're on the clock. Now the part of you that wants to be all artsy and mysterious can't hide behind excuses. Deadlines force this uncomfortable honesty within yourself. You have to look at what you're actually capable of, not what you wish you were. It means letting your work exist in a place where anyone can see it. Your professors, grandma's book club, and high school classmates you haven't spoken to in years can all share opinions on it. And then you remember the goal has always been to make this for yourself. It isn't to make something bad or good. It's to make something that's yours. Even if it's unpolished or looks like it was edited on Windows Movie Maker. By the way, shout out to all my Windows Movie Maker and Clipchamp editors out there. I don't know how the fuck you guys do it. And sure, maybe a deadline means you don't get to color grade every frame until your eyes bleed. Maybe your sound design is off. Maybe your shots have black specks because Sony sensors are a pain in the ass to clean. Either way, it doesn't matter. Just get it done and not that quirky girl with a nose ring so bad it's good kind of shit. It's gotta be that post 8-hour shift at Taco Bell kind of shit. Messy, loud, and some of it sticks with you. Creativity is not an orderly process. Van Gogh drank paint and chopped his ear off. Picasso drew eyes where knees should be and hit on teenage girls. But fuck did they make some fire art. Because they didn't care how it would be perceived or who would hate it. They weren't afraid to push boundaries and challenge the traditional styles of the time. And that's exactly what made it good. The world is full of content that's been overcooked into blandness. You want yours to taste like it still has fingerprints on it. Like it wasn't even supposed to make it out of your brain alive. We don't need more clean edits. We need more sincerity. Something that feels like a person made it, not a brand or corporation. When every cut is smooth and every frame is fitted to be the algorithm's bitch, the heart gets stomped on and the soul disappears. People don't connect with perfection because people aren't perfect. They connect with tension, spontaneity, and the moments where everything almost falls apart but doesn't. These are the parts we remember, not how good a text animation looked for 3 frames. Stop trying to make ideas that get you laid at a film festival. You don't need to aim for relatable for the sake of relatability. Make something so authentic that people will resonate with it anyway. And no, this doesn't mean you're off the hook to make lazy crap. It just means you need to stop being so much of a perfectionist pussy that you're afraid of hitting record unless you've meticulously set up the lighting in hopes of bringing out your non-existent jawline. Can't even see that, can you? Quit worrying about who's watching. Nobody cares as much as you think. Most of them are gonna forget your video 5 minutes after watching and go back to scrolling reels like a fucking idiot because that's all their mushy brains can handle. Is that the audience you care about appealing to? You've always been here to do what you want, how you want, without caring about 12-year-olds on Ozempic telling you to kill yourself and how they could do better. Everyone talks like they're going to do something but never do. At least you did. Even if you watch it back and hate yourself a little more each time for thinking it was any good. That's more than they can say for themselves. Your ego wants you to stay quiet and safe. Just 5 more minutes under the warm covers. You say fuck that and make it anyway. Because that's the only way to learn and grow. It's the only way to fall back in love with the craft you've obsessed over. So you stay hungry and keep pushing through the process until you're finally ready to... You already did all the work, but now you sit there stalling because your brain is screaming, what if it's not good enough? Well, what if they hate it? Good. Let them. Let your ex see it. Let your family pretend they didn't. Let your old coworkers send it in their company group chat clowning on you for quitting a real job and doing this instead. Let them talk, because the second you hit upload, you win. You kill that fake perfect version that's been kept in your mind for so long. It goes beyond the cliche not caring what others think. You don't even care what you think. You don't have a brand to protect. You could give 2 fucks about cancel culture. The anxiety and embarrassment disappears and you become free. You're no longer the guy talking about ideas, you're the one dropping them. People want truth. They want the weird angle and unique B-roll that makes it feel human, that gives it life. Half these robots online are just parodying each other's ideas, scrolling through analytics with hunchbacks and receding hairlines trying to maximize impressions and retention. It must be exhausting to have the value of your art be determined by numbers on a screen. Who cares if you swear too much, or stutter, or create a thumbnail that doesn't look like AI's description of a human? You were never doing it for the metrics to begin with, and that's what you need to remember. And yeah, some people won't get it. Most probably won't. It doesn't matter, because one person is gonna see it and think, damn, he said exactly what I've been too scared to admit. And that's all you really need. One person who feels less alone because you are courageous enough to be real. Post it not because it's perfect or because it will blow up, but because it's yours. Because playing it safe is just dying a slow, quiet death. And you don't intend to go out that way. You plan to... Here's where the come down hits. You shared your creation with the world and now you sit there, adrenaline vibrating through your teeth, debating if you've ruined your life or changed it for the better. At first you'll want to delete it. You'll remember the audio pop and the fade transition you forgot to remove. The silence will feel deafening. Doubt will creep in like your intrusive thoughts at church. And then you realize nobody really cares. Nobody's gonna show up to your door and drag you off the internet. They'll either watch it or they won't. People might comment, they might not. But you can't base your worth off maybes and what ifs. You got the hardest part out of the way. Now it's time to sit back and actually enjoy what you've made. You almost forgot how to do that, didn't you? Real freedom has never been about being fearless. It's about being scared and doing that shit anyway. You realize your value isn't in your polish, but in your perspective. People have never followed you because your videos are better than Netflix. They followed you because you aren't afraid to speak your mind in a world where everyone else is. Once you survive the cringe, the second guessing, and the fight against your ego, you realize something important. You can do it again, and again, and again, until eventually perfectionism is no longer the thing holding you back. You're too obsessed with how things look, with optics and aesthetics. You want it to be cool, and that's why you're boring. If you want to be great, you need to be weird and embarrassing. Let people watch you suck and then improve from it. Because at the end of the day, the people who get remembered are the ones who actually made something, not the ones who waited until it was perfect.
Ooh, baby, I like it.